Hey everybody, welcome back to Review a Day, episode number 183. I'm Leland and thank you guys for joining me. Very, very excited. The film I'm reviewing for you guys today is Antichrist, and this is the new controversial film from writer-director Lars von Trier, the guy that brought us Dogville, Breaking the Waves, and Dancer in the Dark, the Bjork film. I've actually never seen it, and I've always meant to, and I was kind of bummed I didn't get to see it before I saw Antichrist. This new film, though, stars Willem Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsbourg. They're really the only two actors in the entire film. I believe you see some other people in a funeral procession, but really every single scene are these two actors on screen together. The movie is about the two of them. They're a married couple, and whilst making love one day, their baby crawls out of its crib, and then it crawls out a window and it falls to its death. Charlotte Gainsbourg starts beating herself up with guilt. Her husband, played by Willem Dafoe, is a psychiatrist, and he's going to help her through these tough times by giving her some counseling. And he decides to take her to their cabin, which is called Eden, and it's the place the wife is most afraid of. She spent the last summer there with their son, writing her thesis, which is about atrocities against women throughout history. And Willem Dafoe takes her out there. She starts going crazier, and she starts taking out her anger and aggression on herself and on Willem Dafoe. There's an old quote from Alfred Hitchcock that said, "I enjoy playing my audiences like a piano." And I think that's what Lars von Trier is doing with this film. I don't think this is up to snuff with Hitchcock. It's not a Hitchcockian horror film by any means, but I do think Lars von Trier knew exactly what he was doing with this film. I think he's intentionally pushing buttons with this movie, and it's an uncompromising artistic vision, and I think he really doesn't care whether or not it's enjoyable. It's his vision, and that's that. And I think that alone, I think, is something worth applauding. I mean, it does help us know where the line is drawn. When someone crosses that line, we know the line is there, and then we can be okay. Like now this one, now the ending to A Serious Man doesn't seem so far-fetched after seeing this film. I think Lars von Trier did a hell of a job directing this movie. It's got a creepy atmosphere. There's some great visuals in it. Unfortunately, I don't think the movie necessarily works very much. The movie is absolutely bananas, and there's some shit in this movie that I'd never seen on screen before, and stuff I hope I never see again. If you're a gore hound, this movie has some gore in it that is gonna make you wince. And I think I had a similar reaction to this film that I did the HBO series Tell Me You Love Me, which was a show about relationships, like married couples in counseling. And the conceit of that show was that the love scenes were just as important, and they were really graphic, and they used prosthetics like prosthetic insertion, and like women would, blow a dildo or something like that. And it just kind of completely took you out. And I think that is why I came away feeling a little let down by Antichrist, because I think there's some good subtext there. I think there's some good meaty stuff to deal with, but I think all of it is absolutely overshadowed by some things that he's put in this movie that I think are there just to shock you. But at the same time, the movie has an air of artfulness to it that I think it's attempting to be more. The entire opening sequence of them making love while you watch their child fall to its death is shot in super slow-mo, black and white. It looks beautiful, and it's set to like a Handel aria or something like that. And then in the first 30 seconds, there's just like a close-up of penetration of penis going in vagina, and it's just like what? Like, why is that a prosthetic? Why are you showing me this? And there's so many times in the movie where I was completely taken out by the choices Lars von Trier decided to make. You get male and female genital mutilation in this movie. 2 for 1, which is more than you get in any movies. There's a moment when there's a fox eating himself, and he looks at Willem Dafoe and he says, "Chaos reigns." There's a talking animal, and I think everything is justified in this film, but it is not an entertaining movie. But I also don't believe he intended to make an entertaining film. But sadly, I think there's some subtext in here that he's trying to get at. But I think it is all completely overshadowed by the gratuitous violence, by the gratuitous sex scenes that are one after another. I will say the performances are pretty daring and pretty audacious. Unfortunately, I don't think a good performance can really justify seeing this movie. I think if you're a gore hound or a cinephile or someone who's really interested in seeing just a really crazy balls out movie, I would recommend seeing Antichrist, but I think at the end of the day, this movie does fall a little bit short of that, something that could be a little bit more. You know, I was reminded of the Takashi Miike film Visitor Q, or even a lot of Asian extreme cinema, but I end up respecting those movies a lot more because I don't think they try to be much more than what they are. And I think Lars von Trier was trying to tackle a little too much with this movie, and I think it comes across a little bit pompous and, you know, little bit much. Like, take a chill pill, dude. We don't need to see so much cock and so much female genital mutilation. Like, we could use a little bit less of that. I give Antichrist a 2 out of 5. It's a hell of a movie. I will say that much. So I don't even know what else there is to say about this movie. Head over to nitpickit.com. There's a new episode of the Nitpickit podcast out. I'll catch you guys next time.